At 2:14 a.m., a man in Ohio opens his laptop. He's half asleep. One eye open, the other refusing to wake. He just wants to check an email from his bank. Something about unusual activity. Probably nothing. He types his password. Presses enter. The screen doesn't load. Instead, the cursor freezes. The page fades. And a message appears glowing, red, impossible, this account has been sold. Sold? By who? To who? He stares at the screen, heart pounding. His Wi-Fi flickers. His mouse locks. And somewhere thousands of miles away, a stranger scrolls through a dark marketplace. Not guessing passwords. Not hacking them. Buying them. Cut to a neon screen, listings, prices, usernames blurred. The narrator whispers. This is the world beneath your world. A place where your life is broken into pieces and auctioned to the highest bidder. Tonight, we enter that world. Tonight, you see where hackers go when they want your passwords and how close they already are. How does your Netflix login end up in the same marketplace used by ransomware gangs? How does a teenager in Brazil buy bank logins from a man in Russia to steal money from a woman in Kenya? Who controls this economy? Are these governments? Cartels? Anonymous legends? Or could all of it, every leaked password, every stolen identity, be feeding a system larger than any country? To answer those questions, we rewind the clock and follow the journey of one person who stepped into this world. A curious mind. A silent observer. A ghost among thieves. His name was Vex. Before Vex became a whisper in the dark, he was just a kid. Quiet. Overlooked. Invisible. He grew up in a small apartment where the loudest thing in the room was the hum of an old laptop. School wasn't his world. People weren't his world. But code, that was different. Code made sense. At 15, he discovered his school's Wi-Fi password hidden inside a page's source code. Not protected. Not encrypted. Just exposed. Waiting to be found. It changed him. Because in that moment, he saw the truth: most systems are only secure until someone curious looks closely. Years passed. He learned quietly, obsessively. Forums. GitHub repositories. Late-night chats with strangers who called themselves things like SpectreFox and NullSnow. But nothing prepared him for the day he first entered raid forums. A place that didn't look evil. Just busy. Chaotic. Alive. It wasn't a website. It was a bazaar. An economy of stolen digital lives. Billions of leaked emails. Corporate credentials. Passwords from hacked companies. Entire identities listed like cheap groceries. And in the center of it all, auction threads, bidding wars, bundles of hacked accounts sold for the price of a hamburger. But the real shift came later with something even more advanced. Something called Genesis Market. Genesis didn't sell passwords, it sold people. Your browser cookies. Your saved logins. Your autofill history. Your device fingerprint. It offered criminals a way to step into your life digitally with no alerts, no warnings, no two-factor prompts. To them, you weren't a person. You were a profile. A bot. A living file they could rent, clone, or hijack. And Vex watched all of it unfold. Not out of greed. Not for money. But curiosity mixed with something darker, the question of how far this world could go. Genesis grew into a global shadow marketplace. Hackers worshipped it. Criminals depended on it. Companies feared it. And Vex? He felt something he hadn't felt before. Responsibility. And a strange, growing anger at what he saw being done to ordinary people. Vex immersed himself in the underground. Day after day, night after night. He studied the economy of stolen data. And what he saw was terrifying. Passwords aren't stolen individually. They re-harvested, industrially. Millions per day. By malware. By phishing. By supply chain breaches. By hacked apps people forgot they ever installed. He discovered stealer malware that captures all saved passwords instantly. Keyloggers that record every keystroke. Botnets that vacuum browser data from infected machines. Clipper malware that swaps bank account numbers. Cookie extractors that bypass 2FA by impersonating real devices. This wasn't hacking. This was farming. And the farms were everywhere. Genesis Market became the distribution center. The supermarket. The Amazon of stolen identities. Vex studied its back-end structure. Not with malice, with precision. He mapped out how bots were uploaded. How sellers priced stolen identity bundles. How buyers filtered credentials by country, bank, device, browser, and risk level. He observed the conversations in encrypted chats. New US banking bots available. Fresh credentials harvested yesterday. Premium victims high credit score. Humans reduced to metadata. Lives reduced to listings. As Vex explored deeper, he sensed something else. The market was evolving. Growing. Becoming almost unstoppable. And then something pushed him over the edge. Genesis introduced a new feature. Real-time identity syncing. A tool that constantly updated stolen profiles with fresh data from infected devices. If you changed your password tonight, it would appear on Genesis tomorrow. Something in Vex snapped. This wasn't curiosity anymore. This was predation. This was war. He made a choice. He would not join the market. He would expose it. Vex began hunting for flaws. Not in the users. Not in the sellers. But in the infrastructure itself. He attacks nothing. Touches nothing. Leaves no fingerprints. He observes. Learns. Waits. Weeks pass. And then he finds it. A tiny, overlooked vulnerability buried deep in the back-end code. A flaw not in security but in logic. Not something a typical hacker would search for. But Vex sees it immediately. He writes a script. Careful. Precise. Fragile enough to collapse if it goes too far, strong enough to expose the marketplace's spine. On a cold night past 3 a.m., he initiates it. The script infiltrates quietly. Slips through the logic gap. Confuses internal processes. Causes automated systems to contradict one another. Errors multiply. Threads collide. Sessions lock. At 3:14 a.m., Genesis Market begins to stutter. At 3:21, the database desynchronizes. And at 3:35, the entire marketplace collapses. Admins are locked out. Sellers panic. Buyers spam refresh like addicts losing their supply. Forums explode with rumors. FBI raid. Interpol takedown. Russia retaliating. Did the owners disappear? Vex sits in the dark. Hood up. Laptop glowing. Breathing slow. Only he knows the truth. A lone hacker in pajamas with nothing but code took down the world's most dangerous criminal marketplace. The collapse of Genesis Market shakes the entire dark web. It sends ripples through ransomware groups, phishing rings, and identity traffickers. Some celebrate. Some retaliate. Some vanish entirely. But the trade continues. New marketplaces emerge overnight. Sleeker, faster, more secure. A hydra, cut off one head, and two more rise. Vex watches silently. He knows what he has done and what he has unleashed. Authorities worldwide analyze the takedown. Cybersecurity experts publish theories. Intelligence agencies claim credit. But no one truly understands what happened. And no one suspects the quiet observer who has already slipped back into the shadows. But the world is changing. A new site appears. Hidden behind multiple layers of encryption. Private. Exclusive. Invitation only. Its welcome banner is simple, chilling: we don't sell passwords. We sell access. No usernames. No passwords. Just silent windows into compromised machines. The next evolution of the dark economy. Vex stares at the message. He understands what it means. Passwords are no longer the prize. Now hackers want the door itself. A final question echoes. How long can he stay hidden? In a world built on stolen identities. Fade to black. A single line appears. If your password is online, it's already for sale.